Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to Internet Investigations. I am your trippy Trip C, psychedelic psychopomp, Chase Clarence Calloway. And in today's episode, this is our 5th episode of Internet Investigations. There's something about this. If I'm about to just explain it real quick, I'm going to continue with Internet Investigations because, okay, so we have an eye here, right? And then another eye. All right, that's cool. So 2 eyes. And then that's how we can actually start to see other individuals' perspectives. So by looking into the internet, we are, as individuals, using our eye to look at the other eye. And then that's really the big eye that would be at the back of the dollar bill, right? So that's the eye that built the internet. So now we're all building the internet, but it can see us building the internet because it's making that idea, it's creating the idea, and we are the water making the idea real, right? So this is how all of us are symmetry in that way, in terms of we're all somatic, in terms of we're all the water that makes the fire of any idea that we're connecting on real. And then that happens when our mind starts to communicate about how we feel about those ideas. And the more we communicate how we feel about those ideas, we build the structures that result in the life, right? So now your life is a product of how you've actually been communicating how you feel about ideas. If you feel high vibrational about ideas, you've created a certain life. If you feel low vibrational about ideas, you've created a certain life, right? So it's all like this alchemy, literally hermetically. It's all about you knowing that you are the observer, this invisible eye, expressing an imagination, connecting with it to create a soul, and then creating a mind that allows you to communicate how you feel about your own imagination. So everyone is God. Everyone is God alone in their space. When I fasted 24 days and went on this wild psychedelic journey and separated my mind from my body and then started doing that over and over, and it's been years now. And I'm I'm really good at it now. I'm really good. No one here can tell me anything about it. That's why I'm here as a messenger of Mercury, all right, speaking alone to create this structure for us to level up from. Okay, so this is me being symmetry, being somatic, making the internet real, and creating something that the people who made the internet can watch and learn about themselves from. Because the people who made the internet are who I am addressing today in Internet Investigations. So that's what Internet Investigations, right? This symbol's about. So it's I. And then we're bouncing ideas off of our eyes. So that's the internet, right? So we're all just straight up, we're all eyes. We're all spirits creating light bodies. And then that light body allows us to observe other light bodies. And then obviously you can only see light bodies that you are vibrating in resonance with. And that's why the light bounces off of your eye, and now we can see things, right? So because I'm vibrating at a certain frequency, the room around me looks like 3D reality. If I start vibrating at a higher frequency, the room around me would start to change. And I would start to actually see different things because I'm literally seeing higher dimensions of light. And then if I literally vibrate my mind to the point where I leave my body, I'm not going to see this realm. I'm going to see the astral realm. All right, I'm going to see the behind the scenes realm. So that's the universe realm. Okay, so me on Earth right now, this is Chase in simulation world. When I separate my mind from my body, that's Hermes in astral world. So that's where I can go hang out with my dog. And I can't run away from who I am as Hermes because my dog is Anubis. So it's no matter what, he's Max in this life, I'm Chase, but it's just Mercurius ter Maximus. I'm Mercury, Anubis is Maximus. I love him so much. I'm pretty sure he loves me. So it's I have to connect with myself to know who I am. And that's what a soul is. A soul is a spirit who is connected with themselves. So if you're connected to yourself, you have a soul, right? So what we're dealing with if anyone ever tells you that you are created by their imagination, they are projecting onto you that you don't have a soul. And the only reason this person would be able to say that you don't have a soul is because they don't feel like they have a soul. And then that means that they're not connecting with their own imagination. And that means that they're not happy being alone. And this is I cannot stress enough in any way. I'm bursting in my atoms right now. I cannot stress enough just how simply this is the problem that is fueling the genocide of indigenous peoples and climate change, and how all these businesses are making money from profiting off of how Judeo and Christian religions push further climate change and genocide onto indigenous peoples that we're now called black people today. So this is me doing a response to TikTok because I did some magic. All right. I don't even feel like getting into that because it's going to get long. Like I don't feel like getting into that. I've already had my accounts blocked and like messed up and like deleted by them because like once I would get like too big, they would say that I'm dangerous or whatever. But then like I can see way more dangerous things. Like they're saying me fasting is dangerous, right? But then I can see people actually like getting beat up on TikTok. Like they'll say that me literally, and this is actually the main point. TikTok blocked my account very recently because I, as a black person, in Dissect the Dialect, I explain where the N-word comes from. I explain who created the N-word and why the N-word was created to oppress black people. Guess what? TikTok cut those videos down and they struck me for hate speech. So I, as a black person, I can't talk about where a nigger came from. And yeah, I said the word nigger. So like that's the thing where they cut me off, right? So I had to bleep it out. So I could upload it back up, but I still got the strike. And then even then, when I'm not saying nigger, if I'm saying like Negro or something else, they'll still like mark certain things for hate speech when I'm just talking about the history of this language. So this is quite interesting to me, TikTok. All right. So this is actually, yeah, I have to get into this. This is my response to TikTok. So I have to get into this. Because the first thing's for fasting. All right. So I get it. You sacrifice Jesus because he fasted 40 days and you want to sacrifice people for fasting because you don't want to fast, because you want to consume, because fasting means you would actually have to be creative, right? Got it. Cool. Okay. Strike one. Now strike two. I, as a black person, cannot say the N-word and I can't talk about where it came from. Yet once my account got blocked that second time, this is a different account for something different, right? Great. Once my account got blocked some different time, the first video they showed me was literally. So this was after the N-word thing, but this was like later after. They literally showed me, because the guidelines pilot, they literally like retroactively go back and strike. Like the videos will be up for a while and then they'll be like, oh, we struck you for hate speech from a video from a week ago. And it's like, bro, this isn't even hate speech. This is not hate speech. I'm speaking about historical facts right now. I'm objectively talking about the history of English. And I'm up here doing it looking pretty nice. You know, I got colors. I got lights. You know, like, what's up? What? I got teeth. Like, my gosh. So they're saying that it's hateful, it's hate speech. I appeal, right? They still keep it struck. But then how come if I can't say the N-word and I can't talk about where it came from, how come you're going to show me a video TikTok? This is actually me responding to you, TikTok. Okay, so this is me directly actually addressing TikTok. That's going to be easier for me. Why do you take my videos down for historically speaking about where the N-word came from before they even hit like 100 views, 200 views, or whatever? But you're going to let videos blow up where white people are literally saying nigger explicitly. And it was like such a slap in the face to have my TikTok blocked for one of their reasons being me saying the N-word and them retroactively going back to strike me, and then getting hit with a video where it's hashtag black TikTok and it's literally a white person calling a black person nigger. And not only is this not hate speech, right? So it's not hate speech for the white person to call a black person nigger. It's also not violent for that black person to then beat that white person up for the next minute. So I get my TikTok blocked for saying the N-word, but then the first video TikTok is going to show me once I'm forced to make a new account is, hey, by the way, nigger. It's in, so like literally TikTok explicitly, like, what's up? Why are you telling me that I can't say the N-word, but white people can say the N-word? Like you literally have white people saying the N-word. Then that video got like 1 million views and counting. It had like 100,000 likes. and like 7,000 shares. I literally called my mom. She saw it. Bro, my mom told me she saw it. And then we had a conversation about how the system wants people to view black people as animals. So then the whole point of that video blowing up and them suppressing and blocking my account is because they want everyone to view black people as ignorant. And they want everyone to feel like they can get a reaction out of black people by calling us nigger. And then they want to feel like they have superiority over our emotions because just their thoughts control us. And this is why I'm making this video right now, because this whole English language was created by people who want to erase indigenous peoples. And these people who want to erase indigenous cultures have all of us calling ourselves black. So I'm not black, I'm indigenous, and I'm Catawba and Saponi. Those are my main tribes. So if you're going to tell me that I'm black, that's because you're telling me what you want me to be. So I, as an indigenous man, would have to learn your language and then get indoctrinated into your schools to learn what you want me to be. And now you can tell me that I'm from somewhere else. Otherwise, I know I'm indigenous. I know I'm from this land. I know who I am. So it took me getting brainwashed and being forced to speak English like this. It took me literally having to speak English like this, having to uphold all this white supremacist thought for my entire life to be able to make these kinds of connections in a way that makes sense. Because this is my job as a messenger of Mercury. All right, so that's my point is symmetry. Okay, the whole point of symmetry is me being the synchronicity, showing you that nothing is a coincidence. Everything's happening inside of your space. And you, as the observer of your space, are God. You are the God of your circumstances. So your God is simply your imagination. So we're going to see like this religion. All right, yes. So this is what happened. Judaism is a religion. And Judaism is a religion that believes that no matter who you are an expression of their imagination. And that's point blank simple facts, right? Like that's the point of Jewish belief. Jews believe that no matter who you are not actually an individual. You are an expression of their idea of who an individual is. They haven't met that guy because they're saying that their idea of an individual is too big for anyone to meet, but you're not that. So now they can eat you as much as they want. And this is how all of North, South, and Central America has been stolen from indigenous peoples. Because literally the Judeo legal system, like the whole Roman system, right? The whole like Russian, Roman, Judeo system, basically this whole white supremacist religion, that's how I'm going to start getting around the algorithm. Okay, so no, you're rolling with symmetry. All right, so when we're going into the future, know that for me to dodge the algorithms like Neo dodging bullets in the Matrix, I can't say these words like they have them. I have to be creative. So I literally can't even say white, right? Like the whole point of TikTok showing me that I can't say the N-word was to let me know that I can't talk about what they're doing to make reality possible. I can't talk about the history of what they've done because the history of what they've done is so hateful, they need to suppress it if people are going to keep supporting their system at all. This is why you're not going to see people like Dane Calloway on the internet blow up. By the way, he and I are not related. It's just a synchronicity. Okay. So he's awesome. Like he's someone who's goes really hard as an actual historian, like someone who actually has his own mind and his own spiritual perspective as an infinite indigenous individual. Okay, so shout out you, Dane Calloway. I wasn't expecting to give a shout out to anyone, but the spirit called me. All right, Calloway. It's also Dana is my half brother's name. So you being Dane Calloway, you're already family to me, bro. So look, synchronicities. All right, this is just one simulation. Okay, we're all already connected in some way. Okay, even if we've never met in this life yet, the point is we're all vibrating these particles that we call human bodies with our minds so we can communicate. So the only reason you can communicate with me right now is because you have vibrated the same body with your soul. You have your own soul, right? That's your heartbeat coming into existence, and you use your soul to make your ideas real. But your ideas are only real, your ultimate idea is your ego, right? That only becomes real through your body. So right now, here I am, using my soul, my heartbeat, to make my ego real through my body. And now we have the balance of like, if you listen to me, you can see my ego. Otherwise, you're only going to see your own imagination because you can tell me what I am. And that's what we're talking about with Jews today. And I'm saying Ews now, okay? Because I have to take the J out. The algorithm wants me to take the J out, and it's just no coincidence that when I take the J out, the word is ew. Okay, so this is their language. I did not choose for them to come into my land as an indigenous man, and I did not choose for them to tell me I'm an extension of their imagination. No matter what I do, they want to steal everything they can from me. I, as Metatron, created the Merkaba to express the mind. They stole that from me. I, as Hermes, created the Caduceus to express the body. They stole that from me. I, as Tehuti, created, in general, Hermeticism, and they stole that from me. Right? So, as a messenger of Mercury, anytime I'm just giving gifts to the world, all these light supremacists can do is see what's already working in the universe, steal it, and remix it for themselves. So, that's why everything that white people have is stolen from black people. Everything that Judeo-Christian people have is stolen from the indigenous cultures that they are erasing with their religion. So that's why we see like in all of history, the Crusades, right? Colonizers in general, like all of that sea energy, they want to colonize the sea. They want to consume the sea, right? They want to eat everything. So they have to spread their fire everywhere because they're not happy alone in their imagination. There's no reason for me to tell you that you're an extension of my imagination and you have no individuality unless I literally just hate being an individual, because I know I'm an individual. And I know that as an individual, I'm a god because I'm the only one who can express my individuality. So now we just get into the fact of you have to take responsibility for your actions. And this is why America is never going to apologize for genocide or rape or the slavery of indigenous and black peoples, because Jewish people do not feel responsible for everything that they're making money off of doing. Like everything in America is built by Jewish people creating the concept of money and figuring out how to use it to steal everything that they want from natives. And then from there, they use everyone that they can to believe in money to create a system off of money. And now here we are, we're living in it. So this is me dissecting all the witchcraft, okay, of that anti-Semitism stuff, because I am not only Enoch and Metatron, okay, so I'm Jewish, but obviously I'm also indigenous. And the point of being indigenous is that you're an individual. So I can be both. And I am challenging this whole idea that Jews are a race, basically, because it's not, that shouldn't even be up for debate. They're not. Like, Jew is a religion. Anyone of any race can be Jewish. It would be racist for you to say that Jews can only be white. So now, with that preface, we're going to see how racist America is. Because honestly, it is racist to think that a Jewish person could only be white. There's black Jewish people. So what's up? Why can a Jewish person only be white? Why, like, there are no Asian Jewish people? There are no indigenous Jewish people? I'm Enoch. I fasted. I love fasting. I love raising my vibration, hanging out in heaven, in my Merkaba, flying around the universe. That's me as Metatron, communicating Hermeticism. Then we got Hermes and Tehuti, and I'm just a messenger for Mercury in general, reflecting on the universe. So what's up? All right, these are terms. These are words, okay? And we have to get clear on the energy that is being used against us in this English language, because the point of English is to make money out of our minds. So this English language was created by Jews to take over indigenous lands. Point blank simple. So now everyone who's born in that land can uphold the people who took it over. Point blank simple. That's why J is the 10th letter of the alphabet. And that's why for the future, instead of me saying Jew, I'm going to take the heaven out of their name. I'm going to take that 10 out of their name. And I'm left with the universe, what the universe wants me to feel. Ew. All right. So when I ignore the heaven, when I ignore the Jew, what am I left with? I'm left with ew. So this is their language. This is their frequency, their vibration, and their energy. And this is what they created to consume my land and consume my body as a Catawba Saponi indigenous man. So I'm forced to play the game and connect with them and serve them because they are taking over my stuff with my own creations, because they're saying that I'm not an individual and I'm not the expression of my own imagination. So they're saying because they're not the expression of their own imagination, I'm not the expression of my own imagination, and now they can cannibalize and consume me and enslave my family and steal everything from me and then lie about it for centuries, because that's what God wants. That's why on the back of the dollar bill it says, "In God we trust." This is literally the whole point of the New World Order, the whole point of Jesus getting sacrificed 2022 years ago and then resetting our whole idea of time. It's all about Jews using money to take over the world and cause climate change by turning indigenous natural simulations into a Metatron metaverse matrix that is all metal, and it destroys the planet, and then they somehow convince the small amount of humans that they need to go back to Mars, because they ultimately are saying that they don't have their own individuality. So whatever's going on with Jews, they themselves are hijacked by someone who is having them act out a grander plan, which is why they can afford to somehow say that you are not an individual, you are not a god. They can afford to do whatever they want to underneath that idea and rationalize how they deserve to hurt you and lie about it because you're not an individual. That's like point blank simple. We're going to get into that in the next episode, but we're going to see that that's like fundamentally what the religion believes, that you're not an individual, so they can do whatever they want to you, and they are good in it because they are actually God's chosen people. So because you're not God's chosen people, they can do whatever they want. So this is what happened with TikTok. Like, they already deleted me, blocked me, like for saying the N-word, and then they're going to show me that they'll let white people call black people the N-word, because that's not hate speech. It's not hate speech for a white person to call a black person the N-word. It's not violent for a black person to beat up that white person after they call him the N-word, but it is hateful and it is violent for me to talk about why that word exists. So this time what happened was I was on a live because I did some magic and got my account back. Okay, it wasn't TikTok. They weren't replying. I did some other stuff. All right, and it took a lot of persistence with the technology and stuff. All right, so cool. I went live, and what happened was I joined this other woman's live. She was cool. She had just a whole spirituality panel kind of thing going. And when I came in, I got cut off. Literally, I got blocked from that live in no less than a minute, because the live was about racism, right? So people are talking about racism. But once I came in and I literally was saying the history of historically, racism only exists because the people who made English created the terms white and black in order to erase indigenous peoples. So now we don't see each other as individuals anymore. We can only see each other through the colored lens that was created by the people who forced English onto Native Americans and onto this land, and are using it to trap everyone in witchcraft and everything. And then that's literally people were vibing and everything. She's like, and then I got banned. I got banned from being a guest in live. And then all of a sudden people were like, wait, where'd he go? And she was like, who banned him? He was speaking facts. What was this? And then people were commenting where'd he go? And I had to comment yo, I just got banned. That's crazy. So that was silly already. Fine. Then I go in to do my own live, right? Now, this live ends up being 4 hours. So, I'm in there, I'm talking to people, whatever, it's a whole thing. I felt inspired after that to talk about more like history things, but like differently. But it was weird because I'm just like speaking. Like I'm not even going to talk about what I said because it was basically everything, you know, kind of in terms of just like my general what I can say in social media versus what I can actually say in my courses, right? What I can actually say when you connect with me inside the academy, and we can go super deep in personally working with you in a free communicative way to actually make sure that you're as connected with yourself as possible. Um, so I'm like, of course, I'm tailoring my speech still for like social media, but the point was like, I was good for like hours. Like they weren't like cutting me down for anything I was saying, um, until I made this comment. And that's what has inspired this episode of Internet Investigations. Um, it was me making this comment that got me banned from going live for a while. And the comment was, Jewish is not a race. It's a religion. It's an ideology. Anyone of any race can be Jewish. I feel like that's true. And not only feel like, I know that's true. I know that anyone of any race can be Jewish. Like, it's not a race. It's an ideology. It's literally a religion. It's a government. It's a system of thought. The system of thought being that everyone is an expression of their God, and because they're the actual chosen people of God, they can do whatever they want to everyone outside of themselves who's not a part of their religion. And then they can lie about it because they are the actual expression of their imagination. That's what it means. So they literally cut me off for misinformation there. And that's just remarkable. Like, that's like actually remarkable. Because now here I am with this article. All right. So this is Harvard. Harvard EDU. Okay. Harvard Divinity School Religious Literacy Project. This is Judaism Case Study Minority in America. Okay. So I'm about to be right back. I want to make sure that this whack you technology does not cut off because it fails a lot. And then it's really just colonizing and stealing my time again in my own land. So see you. All right. And we're back. So Harvard. Okay. This article is literally about to say everything that I was already saying, but they cut me off in the live stream because they said it's misinformation. So right now I'm going to let you know the reason that they cut me off is because they want to be seen as a race. We're going to see in this article why. Harvard is going to explain it and I'm going to build upon it. But the whole point of them cutting me off and banning me for a while for misinformation is that they let me ride. I could say, and like I was talking about ancient cultures and like spiritual metaphysics stuff for 4 hours. But once I said that Jews are not a race and that anyone of any race can be it because it's an ideology, a system of thought, it's a religion, then that's where, boom, I get my stuff taken. So, and I lose that whole live stream, by the way. So it was a super awesome live stream, but like, because they cut it off, I can't download it. I can't get it back. And now those 4 hours, the ooze, they stole it. They take it, they keep it for themselves because they said that it was misinformation. So now that just shows that even especially we're in a world where literally we're communicating into stuff that can just cut us off, shut us down, and steal our information at any time because they said that we're wrong. When the only reason they would do that is because we're saying something that's really right. And that's the point of me making this video. So, the racial identity of U.S. Jews. The thing is, Jews, they want to be viewed as being persecuted like black people because everything I just talked about is, I mean, pretty violent, pretty bad, right? Like you wouldn't want to knowingly support someone who's using money to enslave you. So even though you can see that Jews own the entire banking system of the world that's being used to steal land, because you can't buy land from someone who does not have your bank. So as an indigenous man, I have my own land, my own trees, my own resources, my own family, my own everything. You, as a Jew, you come over, you say, hey, I have a bank, I have numbers, and I'd like to buy these things from you. That doesn't mean anything to me. Literally, on a spiritual level, your numbers mean nothing because I already have the resources that you want to consume with your numbers. So then that's where you as a Jew then have to use your numbers to rationalize how you can rape and enslave and brutalize me. And then that's where you create this religious thing of like, it's because I'm actually not an expression of myself. I'm an expression of your God. And your God said you can do these things to me and lie about it because I'm not in agreement that I'm not an individual anyway. So either way, I lose because the point is you want to consume me. So it's just then we had to like see how these ideas are allowing spirits to consume other spirits, basically. Because yeah, it's it's deep, okay? So again, this language in general was created by Jews to consume and take over indigenous peoples. And they did it by creating the race in general. Our idea of race was created by Jewish religion. That's why it's religious. It's based in the idea of whiteness and blackness, literally. So it's like, it's that Freemasonic Jewish type, just exactly energy. Like, because it's everything they stole from Egypt, right? Again, that's why the pyramid, back in the dollar bill, all they have is stuff that they stole from indigenous peoples underneath the idea that they're superior because they know that those indigenous peoples are not individuals. They're just expressions of their God that, again, they've never met because they say in their own religion that their God is too grand and too powerful for anyone to conceive. That's literally your imagination. Like, that's literally just you alone in your own imagination. Like, you just sound like you're talking about me and my own imagination. Like, cool. But the moment you tell me I'm not an expression of myself, obviously we are not the same. Like, I have a soul and you basically are just trying to consume my soul by saying I don't have a soul. So now I have to ask a question. Do you have a soul? Do you have a soul? Do you have a soul if you can create a system and brutalize and hurt and do all these evil things to people and lie about it, all because you want to say that they are not an expression of themselves? Because that's what this whole system is. Their whole religion rides on saying that no matter who you are not an expression of yourself. You are an expression of their idea and how they want to manifest heaven into reality, which is causing climate change and just bringing fire to earth, which is why it's supposed to be metal now and why we have metal everywhere. There's heavy metals and everything. We got to detox our bodies from metals. Get tough. Water fast. All right. So again, it's all just connected. It's elemental. You can't run away from yourself. All right. So let's check this out. So this is Harvard EDU on the racial identity of U.S. Jews. So literally, TikTok took me down, blocked me from live because the Jews were watching me and they shut me off for saying that they are not a race. And you're not. Dear Jews, you're not a race. You're a religion. Like, are you so racist that you're saying that people who are not of your race can't be of your religion? Cause like that, like then that's where we have to see that they want to be white, right? Like the point is they're white. Like they're saying they're white, but then they want to be like perceived as black. And that's what this whole article is about to be. So like they want to like be perceived as victims while getting the benefits of being the victor. So we know in Dissect the Dialect, all right? And in general, as Hermetic Science, this is how I describe life. Okay, I'm just making it in a way that we understand. So that's why I have Dissect the Dialect. English is what we're building upon right now. When you're trapped in a vibe, your low vibration is being a victim and your high vibration is being a victor. So when you're a victim, you're a consumer. And when you're a victor, you're a creator. So being a victor is you feeling like you're creating your circumstances. Boom, easy. Being a victim is feeling like you are consuming the circumstances that are being created for you by someone else. So now you're not in control of your circumstances. Someone else is making them. and you're a victim of circumstance. So that's where the whole idea of white and black playing out is that white people are supposed to be victors eternally as a color, and black people are victims eternally as a color. Like once you identify as these colors on a hermetic level, this is how the colors play out forever in the universe, because black is the supporting color that makes white real. So if you are forced to identify as a black person, you are subconsciously having witchcraft practiced on you by the Jews who made this English language to make you believe that you have to support everyone who identifies as white. So now everyone who identifies as white, they believe that black people, they only exist to support their imagination. So now everyone who's white, they feel like they have an imagination that's superior to anyone who's black, and anyone who's black is supposed to serve them. So then this is where we get slavery. All right, because in general, white is the master, black is the slave. White is the ego, black is the soul. So we can think about that then internally on an elemental level. All right, your ego is your master and your soul is your servant. So your soul, your vibration, is supposed to serve your frequency, your ego, so you can actually create energy that allows you to express your imagination, right? So that idea is like, if you don't have feelings that don't serve your individuality, then you're not going to be able to make it real. So if you don't have water that serves your fire, you're not going to create the air that materializes into the earth. And now you won't have something to show for yourself, literally. All right, so just some hermeticism for you right there. Let's get back in here. For many Jews, America has been a land of both opportunity. Was there a point with that, though? I know that that was me going on some elemental stuff. But like, yeah, the point of colors and like white and black. White being the master, black being the servant. And when you identify as these colors, you're having witchcraft practice on you. That's the point. So this is the vibration of these colors. So this is how Jews then somehow get to navigate being white and black in the language that they created to erase indigenous peoples. Point blank simple. That's what all of North, South, and Central America has been. Using Jewish language, specifically English or Spanish, but Latin, right? So Jewish language, but let's focus on the US, right? To take over indigenous lands. They made 375 treaties. Each treaty, they promised us as Native Americans that they would stop raping us, they'd stop murdering us, they'd stop making money stealing our land, they'd stop taking over everything, they'd stop brutalizing us, right? And they did that 375 times so that they could continue to do it to this day. So the point is, they lie because in their religion, they say, they believe that because they're God's chosen people, they have the right to do anything they want to anyone at any time and lie about it because they're God's chosen people. And when you're God's chosen person, you believe that everything you see is black because you are the whiteness. So now you're living as a white person forever. You want to be seen. You are the star. So that's where Jews want to be seen as stars. So they're going to rape, murder, and consume all the indigenous peoples that they call black people through this English language, and then force us to boost up this technology and boost up their actual empires and actually build everything for them and actually make them real and actually make them stars. Because a star doesn't exist if it doesn't have a universe to shine into. So indigenous peoples, we are the water that these light supremacists are shining their imagination into. And now they can make money off of eternally raping us, just raping our souls by keeping us disconnected from our spirits, basically. And it's through all this emotional manipulation that we're talking about right here. So that's the point of Jews creating white and black, so that they can get the benefits of being white while being seen as black, so that they can keep getting the benefits of being white. Because the moment they're seen as being white, they're not able to get the benefits of being white. Because now people are like, wait, you own the banking systems. You own everyone. You guys are the slave masters. So they literally have to create situations with their banking systems to make them look like a victim. and to make them look like they actually are more victimized than the indigenous peoples that they're erasing. So then this is where I had to go through all of high school. I never learned about the history of this country. I never learned about the indigenous genocide that took place. I barely learned about the slavery that took place. But they'll teach me about the Holocaust every single year. And they'll teach me to never forget the Holocaust. And I have all these details about it and how Jews are way more persecuted than black people. Literally, here's a memory. Hold up. This literally happened, by the way. So in high school, I was in AP psychology class. All right. And in AP psychology class, I had this teacher. I'm going to call him Mr. Banks. So Mr. Banks, he made this statement. The statement he made was, the Holocaust is the worst genocide in human history. Now, the thing is, because our school, Walnut Hills, had been drilling that into us constantly, no one said anything. My spirit wanted to move through a vibration with my soul and animate my body with my mind to say something, because that didn't feel right. For you to say, as a teacher, that the Holocaust is the worst genocide in human history, I, as an indigenous man, am like, by what numbers? Like, how are you going to say it's the worst? Right? But the thing is, they've already been teaching us like throughout school. So this is normal. So he was just repeating what school was saying. But I chose to challenge it in this moment, right? Now, notice everyone's calm, everyone's cool before that. But what I say is, yeah, Mr. Banks. Can I raise my hand? I'm like, like literally I react like, he's like, well, you have something to say? I'm like, yeah, like under what pretense? Like under what way? Like how is it the worst when we consider the slavery that took place here in Americas? I didn't even get into the genocide of indigenous peoples. I was talking about like just slavery, and like we're talking about numbers. I'm like, just like numerically, like, because, you know, this is like all based on the history that they presented to us. But very recently, synchronistically, I had like gotten into research before this happened in class and saw that the Holocaust was like 6 million. Okay, cool. That's what they taught us constantly in school. But then like slavery was like 10 million plus. And then the genocide of indigenous peoples is like 100 million plus. Like the genocide of indigenous peoples, the indigenous tribes throughout North, South, and Central America, like, oh my God. So many, like, so way more than the Holocaust can imagine, right? But the point, and then here's the fact that they never taught me about the Holocaust in school, that Hitler's whole inspiration for doing it came from the genocide that Jews brought to indigenous peoples in North, South, and Central America. So he was inspired to do to his people what his people were already doing to Native Americans. So now here we are all supporting white people as Native Americans, calling ourselves black because we're supposed to hate how this white guy wanted to kill white people, because white people were doing the same thing to white people that they built all of America on doing to indigenous peoples, that they raped and murdered and enslaved so much they convinced us to call ourselves black, so that they could trap our minds in a UFO and make us think that we're somehow from two different places. We're African and American. Like, and it's just, it's so, yeah, so much twisted emotional manipulation. Now, am I saying that no Africans were brought over? Absolutely not. Like, there definitely were some amount of people, indentured servants, who were brought over from Africa into the Americas. At the same time, the main slaves who built the Americas were people who were born in the Americas. It wasn't people who were brought over from a totally different place. And then these people somehow survive the whole passage and then are strong enough to grow again and then be slaves. No, you're going to go to a land where the people are already acclimated to that climate. And then you're going to separate them from their families and separate them based on color, make them stop practicing their religions, make them stop practicing their languages, and then give them a new language. And now, once you make all these indigenous tribes, all these individuals, you split up all these families from the lands that you're invading. Once you split them up for centuries and you make them learn this new language called English, now you can teach them that in English they are black. And now they can go to your schools like, oh, I'm black. Well, what does black mean? Black means that you're from Africa. And now they can just, boom, UFO. You have alien abduction. Like there it is. That's the UFO. That's a Merkaba. America is a Merkaba. Just a UFO satellite ship abducting everyone's minds. It's insane. That's why this country is obsessed with aliens and UFOs and invasions and Martians invading. Okay, so we can't, this is the subconscious weight of the world we're in. This is like, it's like, think about Westworld even. I don't know if you've seen Westworld. Westworld's a show where it's all about how Europeans want to use advanced technology to relive their favorite time in American history. And their favorite time in American history was when they could rape and murder Native Americans as much as they wanted. And that was the Wild West. And that's all Jewish. That's all them making money. That's all them using this idea that, oh, well, you're an extension of my God, so I don't have to feel bad for raping you. I just have to repent for my sins. Because, I mean, you're not connected to my family. You're not connected to my religion, so you're a demon. You're evil. So when I do evil things to you, it's not evil for me to do evil things to you because you're evil. And this is how they get away with constant, horrible, disgusting, awful things. So Jewish people created English and they created the terms white and black so that they could make money off of erasing indigenous people. And it's point blank that simple. That's why J is a letter 10 in the English alphabet. 10 is heaven. So this is Jews in their heaven telling all of us that we need to go to their heaven. So Jewish heaven is telling us and forcing us to pay attention to them, forcing us to support their system because they're projecting into our space. And they're doing this all underneath the idea that we're not happy alone. And all of us as indigenous individuals have to learn that we are happy alone. And the people who are forcing us to support them and forcing us to uphold their religions are not happy alone. Which is why they have to convince us that we can't be like Hermes and create our own heaven. We need to go to theirs. So that's where all these religions, they called me away from Mercury. Like time again. Okay, so that's where me as Enoch, boom. I'm in Jewish religion. Me as Hermes, boom. I'm in their Roman, still Jewish religion. Like they can't avoid that life is created by individuals expressing themselves. All they can do is create an individual idea that says that we are all not individuals and that we're all expressions of their individual. And then they can rape and murder and hurt everyone and consume the world underneath that idea. And that's going to be called the U world order, or again, the EU world order. Because I literally, because of algorithms, I can only say Jew so much. Like they literally have it in a certain algorithm. So this is why, like, no, for the future and everything, I have to either say EU or JU. Like, oh, JUs. Like, oh, that's why JUs. You know, JUs colonize indigenous lands. Ews want to eat indigenous peoples. Ews love eating indigenous peoples. Literally, watch the show Dave for all of that. All right. Shout out you, little Dicky. Big time shout out you for talking about ews consuming indigenous people so that they can make music. Because ews don't feel like they can make music alone. What is music? Water. So water is a soul. Literally, water is your heartbeat. So because ews don't feel like they have their own heartbeat, they literally feel like they need to eat the flesh and consume the blood of indigenous individuals. All right, and then that's the whole music industry. That's what minstrel shows have been. That's why they wore blackface back in the past, because they were already consuming the blood and eating the flesh of the indigenous individuals that they were enslaving, that they were coming over here and enslaving. They were already doing that to the degree that they felt like they were black. And then that's just where we're still in that vibration where they eat so many black people, they feel like they're victims of their own system like black people. And then that's how they make money off of trapping everyone in the idea that we're all one God. And that's, again, the ew world order. Not new, the ooh world order. All right, because I'm pretty sure I can't say new world order, Jewish, Christian. Like, I had to like come up with whole new words. But the point is, as psychedelic symmetry, I know as Hermetic Trismegistus, the language that you create to express yourself only matters because of your vibration. So these words are expressions of their vibration. So like, this is actually hilarious to me that now I have to sidestep this by just calling them ews. And I can just get right to the heart. I can just take that J out, get that fake heaven out of here that wants to colonize my space, and get right to the ew. That's what they're all about, being really ew. If you saw even a fraction of the things that they do behind closed doors, ew wouldn't even begin to describe the feelings that would come out of your spirit. So this is why they act like so much they are loving, when you can't love people if you believe that they're all expressions of your imagination, and your imagination can't even be conceived because it's bigger than you. That's not relatable. It's just like you're using this for genocide. And that's why we have all the emotional manipulation and my high school experience and everything. My high school experience with this was wild. So this was like stuff that my spirit has taken me through. These are waves that my body is riding so I can gather information and learn and relate properly, and then level up and everything too. I'm here to level up. I'm not about to go do things if I'm not leveling up. Okay, so that's why this is the ascension. Okay, this is the awakening. Because people have to realize that they're supporting genocide to stop complaining about why genocide is causing climate change around them. Stop supporting genocide. And it starts like this, all right? We got to acknowledge this, okay? So, the racial identity of U.S. Jews. For many Jews, America has been a land of both opportunity and persecution. On average, I'm gonna read it here. So, because I've already said it, I'm gonna read it. All right, but no, again, for the future, because they have algorithms and they want to control everything, I have to use codes. So I'm just gonna take the J out. On average, Jews are better educated and more wealthy than other Americans. Good for you. I wonder why. And there are more Jewish members of Congress in their share of the population. Good for you. I wonder why. However, FBI reports show that Jews have been attacked in hate crimes more than any other U.S. religious group. So that's an obvious lie. You would have to literally ignore the hundreds of indigenous tribes that have been erased by white and black, by this English language, to make that true. So everything I've already said is just anchored more true by these first few sentences. They cannot be the most persecuted U.S. religious group when they are the ones who own the banking systems that make the U.S. run. They own the money that has erased all the indigenous individuals that you are ignoring. So that's why they're never going to talk about all the Native Americans that they raped and murdered. That's why in high school, they're constantly teaching me about the Holocaust every year, but never teach me about what they did to build this country. This is why. This ambiguity is reflected in Jewish racial identity. Race is a social construct. It is a powerful idea created by humans, not biological fact. And the boundaries of race are thus often inflexible. As of 2013, 94% of U.S. Jews identified as white. Okay, so 94% of U.S. Jews identify as white. So That's cool. So we're saying that white people are victims of their own circumstances. And that's basically the whole point of Jewish belief. They literally believe that they are not the creators of their circumstances. God created them, God created everyone, so they're a victim. So this is why they can make it work. This is why they feel okay lying and like it's fine, and how they make it work, literally. Because they literally believe that because they are not the creator of their own circumstances, they're not responsible for how they consume and hurt and what they do to other people. And they feel like they're somehow more empowered to actually rape, murder, and hurt other people and lie about it because they're actually God's chosen people. So now it doesn't matter how you feel about your individuality. They're here to make money out of you and steal you from your family and take you away and make you work for them forever because they have an idea about how God wants them to make you serve them. But they're not God. So they're a victim just like you. This is how they're doing it. This is the witchcraft that has the whole world trapped. This is how the New World Order is emotionally manipulating everybody with religious ideas and light, really, light. I'm explaining colors. I'm explaining how English as a language is light. And then when we identify as the words that are anchored to the colors of what the people who made this language want us to identify as, we play out as those colors. So Jews obviously aren't identifying as black because they don't want to identify as slaves. We already covered white is master, black is a slave. Jews are the masters, they're not the slaves, but they want to appear like slaves so they can keep being the masters. And then that's how they keep spreading their mastery across the New World Order world, by saying that they themselves are slaves. And then slaves of what? This imagination of saying that they're expressions of one individual that they haven't met and no one's ever met. Pretty wild, okay? But you can see psychologically then, all right, I'm breaking all of it down. This is how they make it work. Race is a social construct. It is a powerful idea created by humans, not biological fact. And the boundaries of race are thus often flexible. As of 2013, 94 U.S. Jews identified as white, right, not black. However, Jewish racial identity has changed many times in U.S. history. All right, we're going to read this paragraph, and then I'm going to turn this into a two-parter. All right, I had to give a whole preface before we dive into this article. Because then we can see how this article is literally saying everything I just said. But you wouldn't be able to see that based on the logic of this article if you didn't have this subconscious clarity. So I'm here with my caduceus, giving that trippy clarity. Now when we read this article, we can see it's saying exactly what I'm saying. But they have to murk it up and make it dirty and earthy and hard to understand. That's the point of EUs creating the legal system to take over indigenous land. They have no right to charge people for living on a land that they're stealing from them. Like, I as an indigenous man should not be able to be charged for living on a land that I am free on without you being here taking it over for me. But that's it, see? And even that was like, oh, taking it over for me, not from me. That was like a little funny slip just for me to build on that now. Because that's how they view it. They're like, nah, you niggers, let's take this land over for you. It's like, no, you're taking it from me. We were way more free and way healthier, way more spiritual, way more powerful before we were forced to sit all day, every day to regurgitate and learn lies and plug into a machine. Just to worship the people who are making this machine as the machine is destroying the environment that allows me to breathe. What? So not smart, bro. This is insane. How are they not? Oh my God. Where is the empathy? Like, where is the empathy? There's no empathy when you believe that everyone is the expression of one man that you've never met. That, like, there's no connection there. That's like pure separation. Like, you feel so separated from yourself, you're going to say that everyone is an expression of how you're separated from yourself. So now you can do whatever you want and say you didn't do it. And that's your expression of your religion as in you. In the 19th century America, Jews were generally believed to be a distinct race within a broad category of white people. Okay, so Jews are considered a distinct race within white people. So no matter what, they're white. They're not black. They're not slaves. They're not persecuted. They are the masters. They are the victors. They're not victims. They're the victors. The white people are the victors of life. They control everything. The black people are the victims of life. So here we already see over and over, Jews are white. And again, we know in Dissect the Dialect, in this language, Jews created these terms to erase indigenous peoples. So the fact that we're talking about it is me having my indigenous individuality erased because I can't actually be the Native American I'm supposed to be. So, yeah, we're about to finish this paragraph, two-parter. Jews who wanted to maintain their distinct traditions self-described as both racially Jewish and white. So they're racially Jewish and white. So white, these are all ideas. See, like these are all ideas being made to make money off of erasing the actual individuality of indigenous peoples and just individuality of everyone in that case. Because spiritually, as Hermes, I am on that thing of everyone creates themselves. That's why when you look me up as Tehuti, it says I'm the God who created himself. It's because we all have to create ourselves. I'm an expression of my own imagination, like right now. All right, let's finish this, bro. I need to take a break. This was a common way of viewing race at the time. Immigrant groups like the Germans, the Irish, and Jews were seen as distinct races, but they could still all be seen as white. Duh, that's the point. The whole point of Jews making white was so that they could make money off of uniting all the European nations in agreeing to rape and murder indigenous peoples and then lie about it and say that they're black and then make them support this whole English language and everything attached to it. And now we have the EU world order. We have money. We have everything with science and climate change and all that. Some of these groups, like the Irish, were sometimes grouped with African Americans. Okay, were sometimes grouped with African Americans and struggled to gain inclusion into white society. But 19th century Jews were largely considered to be just another subgroup in the US's majority white population. All right, so we could end it here, but no, it's going to be a two-parter because we go deeper. But Harvard already said it. So everything I just said, Harvard just validated us in two paragraphs. Jews were largely considered to be just another subgroup in the US's majority white population. And the whole point is that they created whiteness to erase indigenous people. So now we call ourselves black. And then this is where everyone who wants to make money with Jews, they agree that they're white. So then this is where we get all the different Europeans agreeing to uphold the idea of whiteness, which is to make money out of the rape and murder of indigenous peoples, which is why it's all about slavery and causing climate change and destroying the environment. And this is why we'll never find money in the world. Money doesn't exist. Nature exists. So this is how they're playing God. By creating money, they can play God by manipulating everyone's feelings about money. So now they can make us build their world because we feel like we need money. We feel like we need the idea that they made up because they actually need us to support them. They need us to make their heaven real. And their heaven is forcibly connecting into us and making us feel like we're not good enough alone. And then again, us as indigenous individuals have to go hermetic and learn that we are actually more than good enough alone, and we don't need to support people who are telling us that we are garbage and an expression of them hating themselves. All right, so see you in the next one. Yeah.